Hey, Foundry family, Pastor Will here, Associate Pastor and Director of Discipleship. You'll see I am joined by a friend of mine. Her name is Monty. Like all of you who have furry friends and companions at home, I'm sure you're getting up close and personal. She is with me every single Zoom call I make, whether she's trying to read scripture or she's trying to make sure that she knows what I'm talking about. I have no idea. But I'm certainly grateful for her attention and affection during these days of quarantine. I'm also glad to be able to connect with you today. Thank you for joining me. I would love to know where you're joining me from and what's been going on with you. So please feel free to sound off in the comments and let me know where you're watching from, what you're up to as we're continuing to live this life of connection in the midst of social distance. So please let me know where you're watching from and what's going on with you. As I have continued to reflect on what life is like when living at a distance, one of the things that I continue to think about is joy. Now, I have to be honest with you, when I say the word joy, or I think about living out of my joy, which is really where my reflection has been, that's not really a strong suit of mine. In fact, I think it's very easy, and I shared this in some other devotional reflection with somebody recently. For me, like so many of us, to ground myself not in joy, but in the stuff that I'm able to produce, to reduce my own worth, to reduce my understanding of what I'm able to offer or contribute, not to that which brings me joy, but to that which I'm accomplishing. And I've realized recently, I'm continuing to realize in a world where we can't do as much as we might like to do, where we can't produce in the same ways that we're used to producing, that there are some fundamental ways that I'm being invited, and maybe perhaps you're being invited too, to root your worth, to root your way of orienting yourself in the world to something different. And for me, that's been joy. I'll share with you a post from my good friend Laura, who recently on Facebook just posted a series of llama pictures. You'll see some of the llamas here. Their hairdos for some reason got me incredibly tickled when I saw this post on Tuesday of this week. So much so that I decided to make some of the llamas my Zoom background. So be careful the next time you Zoom with me, you may be joined by a couple of llamas. And I don't know why that made me so happy in the moment. And I don't know why it made me laugh so much in the moment, but it did. Joy can be a hard thing to find. Joy can be a hard thing to find. In a moment when we find ourselves so surrounded by news of death and destruction and loss and pain, with the 24-hour news cycle that we're living with these days, and with our own kind of keen awareness of the separation between us, it's really easy for us to find ourselves rooted in the anxiety of these days, and the fear of these days, and the uncertainty of these days. And I find myself thinking more and more how much different life might be if when we woke up in the morning, rather than opening up our iPhone and reading the news alerts or listening to the news on NPR or wherever else we're receiving that information, we might instead begin the day by asking ourselves, what is it that I'm going to do today that will bring me joy? What is it that I'm going to do today that will invite me to see the world not from a place of fear or loss or anxiety, but from a place that allows me to see the goodness that's happening in the midst of all those other things? Now, don't get me wrong. This isn't an invitation for us to bury our heads in the sand, but it is instead an invitation for us to shift just ever so slightly the lens through which we're engaging the people around us, that we're engaging the work that is before us, that we're engaging the relationships with the friends that we may be sharing space with in this moment, or the family that we're sharing space with in this moment that's making us want to pull our hair out. And to see the gifts, small and simple though they might be, that allow us to remain rooted in joy. So I'd love to know what it is for you that brings you joy in this season. Sound off in the comments. Let other people know what it is that's in this moment helping you stay rooted in joy. And want to invite you to begin each day by just reflecting for a minute on that moment, that thing, that opportunity that brings you joy. And as you do that, I want to share with you an invitation that Paul shares in the letter to the Romans. It's taken from the 13th chapter, or the 15th chapter rather, the 13th verse, and it's a prayer that he's sharing for the people. And he says, "May the God of all hope fill you with all joy and peace in believing, so that you may abound in hope by the power of the Holy Spirit." My prayer for us in this season is that we do find ways to root ourselves in joy and in hope, in the spaces that we get to share with one another through community at Foundry, in the spaces that we get to share with people that we love, in the spaces we get to create through the worshipful spaces that we're building in our homes, so that we might find all the strength and the hope and the energy we need for the living of these days. As we continue kind of building those spaces in our homes as Foundry, I want to invite you to make sure that you've been following along as we're sharing invitations for how you can participate in worship and in building worshipful space in your homes this week. We want to encourage you, if you haven't already, to consider making a paper palm. I know Pastor Casey is going to be working on that with some of our children and families this Sunday at 9 o'clock before our 11:15 service begins, and so you can join in with that. And participate in that particular project, or you can find a scarf or a leafy branch or a green thing, a living thing in your home, and join with us as we celebrate in a virtual Palm Sunday parade. If you've already done that, we encourage you to post on social media the object that you found, the branch you found, the leaf that you found, and tag that picture, "This is how I Foundry," hashtag "This is how I Foundry," so that we can collect up all those images and see kind of across the DMV and across the area how our folk are celebrating Palm Sunday this Sunday in community. Friends, I continue to be grateful for all the ways that y'all are showing up for one another in this season, that we have to get to show up for one another in this season, and I'm praying for your continued strength and energy and joy. Thanks for joining me today. Be sure to let us know how you're finding joy today and in this season, and hopefully we'll get to see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.